Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we draw on Garro Knight of Grey by James Swallow and how Garro's tale unfolds there. Let's get straight into it. Keela is found on Terra by Garro, who wants to protect her. Mortarion hears that she is in the area and goes to find them both. Then whilst Keela is taken to safety as Mortarion and the Death Guard close in, Garro buys time, facing the Death Guard by himself, and he appears and calls Mortarion traitor. They meet, father and son facing each other at long last, and they talk. Garro asks Mortarion what he has become, to which his Gene Father says, undying, unstoppable, unmatched. Garro asks the price that was paid. Everything, Mortarion responds. He then offers Garro an option to join him. He finds a cup of black fluid and offers it to Garro, who feels the pull of the Legion that he's been so long apart from. In the Death Guard proper, poison will be taken to show a Legionnary's fortitude, his gene-enhanced strength fighting it off. Garro regrets what happened with the Death Guard, and Mortarion says that there is always a way back. Garro says that Mortarion still fights against the idea that there is no destiny, that you can only make your own, whereas Garro has accepted that he can't control his own destiny, that it is chosen for him, and he throws the cup away. Mortarion offers Garro a swift death for his service to him. Garro declines the offer and draws Libertas. Mortarion counters with silence his war scythe, and they fight. The Primarch and Garro could only at that moment concentrate on staying alive. There was no openings for a counter-strike, a moment for him to think. It was just defending what Mortarion threw against him. Garro thought of when he'd fought a custodian and overcome the custodian using his opponent's own arrogance. Here he was being pushed back and running out of room to fight in, so he cut through a pillar that fell and gave him space against Mortarion, who drew his gun lantern. It had been a gift from the Emperor. The gun fired, but Garro evaded, and then returned fire with his bolter, but he could not damage the Primarch. Mortarion used silence to remove the bolter from Garro's hand. Lantern was now pointed at Garro, and Mortarion says that Garro has given up the right to die quickly. He says they will settle this blade to blade. Garro sees the Primarch is playing with him, but Garro's time with Malcador has taught him boldness. He sprints to Mortarion. Mortarion slipped away from every attack that Libertas bringing it against him. The pestilent flies around him became less so as Libertas scorched them from the air. Garro ducked beneath a sweep by Mortarion with his scythe to remove his head and thrust the blade to score Mortarion's ceramite. This makes Mortarion angry. He'd once been of a more stoic nature. Under Nurgle, he shows how he feels. Mortarion uses silence to strike Garro, who is battered into a pile of fallen brickwork. He rises, but that single blow had cracked the ceramite sheath of the breastplate Garro wore, and there was a tremor in his steps as he rose. And then something comes over Garro. He feels something. Peace. He felt eyes looking on him. It was Keela, the saint, aiding him. He cuts for Mortarion, but the Primarch parries the first and many more attacks from Garro, and he counters. 3 struck Garro, who struggled to keep himself together. He could see that the Primarch was dragging out the fight, playing to the audience of his Death Guard. Garro got inside, silenced his guard, and his sword Libertas scraped the edge of the armour protecting Mortarion's throat, and then goes on to cut the cheek of the Primarch above his breather mask. Mortarion gave voice to his surprise, but Garro had lost his weapon in making that blow. and Mortarion uses the brass pommel of his scythe to strike Garro again and again into his chest, destroying his armour blow by blow, and black flies went into a frenzy, seeing this Primarch's son near death. Then Mortarion says he'll keep Garro alive. Garro's body will be renewed, evolved, a host for Grandfather Nurgle. Garro says no in denial. With great effort he moved forward, raising himself up on his sword. The Primarch pushed him back with his war scythe. Mortarion says every path laid for them by the Emperor leads to death, and Garro answers, only in death does duty end. Mortarion says that Garro will rise again in the name of decay. Insect wings grew from the back of Mortarion's armour. Garro was dying. This was suffering beyond his experience. Mortarion enjoyed his pain, but a voice reached Garro, not his own. It said no. He felt strength return, and he rose. Incredible strength. Garro says he will resist Mortarion, and father and son face each other for a final time. He blocked the swing of silence and held it with his new strength, and the flies that surrounded Garro that were trying to devour him recoiled. Garro says Mortarion's betrayal broke his heart, and that Mortarion has become what he used to hate. Garro asks how the Death Guard Primarch can both loathe sorcery and ally with the creatures in the warp that are behind such sorcery. Mortarion sees in this moment that Garro is his last link to his legion of old, that each step has led him here, a last part of him that has to be removed. Garro tried to block a blow from Mortarion that was there to finish his last good son, but it fails, and the scythe shatters Libertas, and the scythe goes into the bone and heart of Garro. Garro fell to his knees. The blade poisoned him, and it eroded his armour. His implants, designed by the Emperor, began to shut down. Garro speaks, saying, when he dies, the last human part of Mortarion goes with him. The Primarch denies this is the case, but Garro sees the truth. And then, in Balin's time, Garro sees the Saint escape on a ship. Garro has saved her, putting her above all else. Then, with the remains of his gene strength, Garro pulled himself up the scythe, so it burst from his back, and he struck the broken stub of Libertas into Mortarion's throat. Toxic vitality spilled from him. For Garro, things faded, and he did not hear the cries of Mortarion. Even then, defiance filled Garro, and it was then a golden light came to him, and Mortarion and his legion faded, and a figure in gilded armour approached him, the Emperor. Garro wondered if this was real, or he was going mad, and the Golden Warrior extends a hand, and Garro knew, if he believed, as he had not so many times, that there might come a time when he would arise anew. And he took the hand, and he saw his body crumble into dust, but that his soul would live on in eternity. And the chapter of Garro's life ends with, he should have been afraid, but in that moment he was elated, for within it his purpose at last had been fulfilled. The God Emperor knew his name, and Nathaniel Garro's duty was at an end. And friends, it is with that sad moment that we lay to rest Nathaniel Garro, a character that I became very attached to, particularly in the Flight of the Einstein. And though his stories wavered somewhat in the in-between stories, I think, I feel this is a pretty fitting end for him, though a tragic one, I can't deny. I was getting very emotional during those last few moments of his life in the video. I hope you enjoy Nathaniel Garro as a character as much as I did, and that perhaps you see this as a fitting end. Though I wish he'd have removed the head from Mortarion, I have to admit. We knew that probably wasn't going to happen. Anyway, I will end the video here, rather than listen to me ramble on. Drop me a comment down below.